So with the red light on, the fat is engaged. I'm so sorry. So with the fat on, it adds that weight to it. I apologize for that, man. But when you see the red dot and the fat, it was on. So go ahead and rewind that. I apologize, and I'll make sure I put that in the text and stuff like that. But with this on, it's on. You know what I'm saying? So I apologize for that, but you know what I'm saying? Hopefully you read the video. My bad. So yeah, the fat on, it adds weight to it. When you take it out, it has a nice top end to it. So we're gonna check out the source volume right now, and you know what I'm saying, right now everything is bypassed on this plugin. So this plugin is bypassed, you'll know because it has the red dot right there. All right, so that red dot in means it's bypassed, and all our hardware is bypassed. The plugins that we'll be utilizing and putting against the Mo5 is the API Vision Strip, the UAD LA-6176, the UAD VoxBox, the UAD Avalon 737, and the UAD Neve 1073, and along with our hardware, which is going to be the A.R.T TPS II dual preamp, which is what they call a 2 preamp, but it's a hybrid 2 solid state preamp. The Alctron MP73 EQ version 2. This is a Neve clone. And then right down here we have the Warm Audio Tone Beast, which is based off of an API 512 preamp with a little bit of bells and whistles right here as well, man. And that are the three hardware pieces that we'll be modeling off of and stuff like that, man. So without further ado, man, we're gonna go ahead and get in here and check out the plugins against this one plugin right here, man. So let's go ahead and turn up the music and check out our source volume by ourselves and prepare our plugins.
Mama's on the stove, cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove, cooking grits, eggs and bacon.
All right, cool. So we're gonna go ahead and start out with the API. All processes are turned off on the Vision Strip, so no EQ, no compression, no gate, and no filtering. Just straight in mic pre. We're gonna be utilizing the line circuit, and I already have it set to be gain match with the actual raw vocal. So I'll be turning the plugin on and off, and same thing with this plugin over here with the Mo5. So I'll play around with it so you can actually hear what the Mo5 is capable of, and we'll go ahead and move on to the Vision Strip to do a comparison. So let's go.
Eggs and bacon, mama's on the stove, cooking grits. Eggs and bacon, mama's on the stove, cooking grits. Eggs and
Mo5, here we go.
Mama's on the stove, cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove, cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove, cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove, cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove, cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove, cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove, cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove, cooking grits. Eggs and bacon.
All right, so you can hear that the preamp gain basically is going to overdrive your signal. It'll push hard. The fat just adds some type of sheen to it. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking it was going to add a little bit of weight, but it adds just some type of sheen to it. But it fattens up the vocal a little bit or whatnot. We're going to keep it engaged, and we'll pop it out every now and then or whatnot. And then I hope you heard the Mo circuitry. When you drive it in there, you get a lot more aggression, a lot more body, and everything like that, man. So let's go ahead and put it up against the Vision Strip. Let's go.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove, cooking grits.
I'm gonna start out with the Vision Strip.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove, cooking grits.
6, 7,
eggs and
8.
bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
So this vision strip.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove
Mo5.
for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
I'm gonna take the fat out.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
All right, gonna bypass, go to API.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and solo the vocals. So hear the source vocal first,
Eggs and bacon.
and then we'll pop into Mo5.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon.
Vision strip.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. For cooking grits.
My bad.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for
Mo5.
cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Let's bring it back with the music. API still on.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs
Mo5.
and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Wow.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and
Quick
bacon.
bypass.
Mama's on the stove for
The
cooking
API.
grits.
Mo5.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
API.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for
Mo5.
cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
API.
Eggs and bacon.
All right, so yeah, that was the API and the Mo5. I have to say, man, they sound somewhat similar. You know what I'm saying? I think it sounds similar when you have the fat in there, and then it just kind of loses its power against the API. So we're gonna take that fat out one more time and do a quick comparison.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
It's the API right now.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon.
Mo5.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Yeah.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking.
Yeah, so you could definitely hear when you take the fat out of the circuitry, when you engage the fat and take it out of the circuitry, or should I say when you disengage the fat and take it out of the circuitry, it has more of a low end, but when you engage it and put it in the circuitry, it has more of a API type of sound and adds a little bit more top end, high mid top end to your source, or should I say these vocals right here. So the API sounds pretty good. It sounds very, very similar. This really, it sounds like it's not as top end as the API. It's not as forward, but the same characteristics is there. That makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? I think if I was to take it out of context, this has more top end and this has more less top end, but they kind of sound similar to me. That's just me though. All right, cool deal. So that's the API right there. We're going to go ahead and move on to the UAD. All right, the UAD 6176. All right, now we have the dynamics or the compressor section turned off, the EQ section turned off, and we're just going to be utilizing the preamp section. And the gain, we have it set at +5. We have the input set on line, and we have our level adjustment according to the same volume as the source. All right, so we're gonna go back and forth and check out the comparison. We'll disengage and engage the fat as needed. All right, here we go. So this is the source.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Let's go to the Mo5. Here we go.
And bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and take the 5 fat out.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
All right, let's go to 6176.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Let's go back to the Mo5.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Fat in.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon.
UAD.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Ooh.
Eggs and bacon.
Solo.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits,
6176.
eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and
Mo5.
bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits,
Fat in.
eggs
Out.
and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
All right, the fat is out.
Eggs and bacon.
Fat
Mama's
in.
on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon.
UAD.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits,
Mo5.
eggs and bacon.
With the fat out.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits,
Fat in.
eggs and bacon.
Source.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and
6176.
bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon.
Out.
Mama's on the stove
Mo5.
for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits,
I'm gonna put it back in with the music. Quick
eggs
comparison.
and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits,
We're gonna go ahead and keep the fat in.
eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits,
All right, quick comparison. Here we go.
eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits,
6176.
eggs and bacon. Mama's on the
Mo5.
stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits,
6176.
eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits,
Mo5.
eggs and bacon. Mama.
All right, cool deal. So there's definitely a big difference right here. The Mo5 definitely has that top open airiness to it, which leaves that high mid top end open on vocals, particularly. And I'm quite sure that it would be other sound sources as well. This does a very good job too. Just adds a little bit of weight in the low mids, and not too much top end, but it sounds really good too, I have to say, man. So yeah, that's the two comparison with that fat. Again, that fat just adds that top end sheen. When you take it out of the circuitry, Joe, weirdly it adds low end, you know what I'm saying? But when you engage it in and it's on, you know what I'm saying, hey, it's working. Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. I've been telling y'all all wrong. I apologize. So with the red light on, the fat is engaged. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So with the fat on, it adds that weight to it. I apologize for that, man. I apologize for that. But when you see the red dot and the fat, it was on. So go ahead and rewind that. I apologize, and I'll make sure I put that in the text and stuff like that. But with this on, it's on, you know what I'm saying? So I apologize for that, but you know what I'm saying? Hopefully you read the video, my bad. So yeah, the fat on, it adds weight to it. When you take it out, it has a nice top end to it. So yeah, that Mo5 really sounds good, man. We're gonna move on to the next plugin. Let's make sure everything is off here. All right, cool deal, man. So what we got here is the VoxBox. If you know anything about the VoxBox, it's tube. It's a tube preamp for sure. We have the de-esser, the EQ, and the compressor section turned off. We have our preamp gain set at 55. Made the adjustment on the input so we can match the source, and we'll go in between. Remember, the fat red light on, the fat is engaged. I had it right the first time. So and we'll bypass it in and out of the fat circuitry. Let's go ahead and get it. So right now, this will be source volume.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
All right, let's go with the VoxBox first.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Here we go, Mo5.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove
VoxBox.
for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon.
Mo5.
Mama's on the stove
the
for
fat.
cooking grits, eggs
Take out the
and
fat.
bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs
Solo.
and bacon. Mama's on the stove
Mo5
for cooking
playing.
grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits,
All right, let's go ahead and engage the fat channel.
eggs
Fat
and bacon.
circuitry.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits,
See how it adds that weight?
eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits,
All right, we're about to bypass, go to the VoxBox.
eggs and bacon.
VoxBox.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs
Bring the
and
music back
bacon.
in.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon.
Mo5.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits,
With the fat engaged,
eggs and bacon.
take it out.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits,
All right, let's do a quick comparison between the
eggs
two.
and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon.
All right, so the VoxBox definitely has that top end sheen to it. Excuse me. VoxBox definitely has that top end sheen to it. It sounds open, but it's not as aggressive as the Mo5. And of course, it doesn't have the low end capabilities as that fat. You know what I'm saying? But I'm quite sure if you utilize the VoxBox, you can go ahead and EQ some of that low end in there to kind of get similar characteristics as the Mo5. So they don't have an EQ adjustment. It just basically hit that fat and it's going to give you that low, mid to low boost that you need in your sound source or whatnot, man. So that's pretty doggone cool right there, man. The VoxBox definitely sounded great against the Mo5, but the Mo5 is just, it's something about it. It's a magic, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like it's airy. It's got low end. It just does something to your sound or whatnot. All right, so that was the Manly VoxBox. Let's go ahead to the Avalon right here, and we're gonna go ahead and switch sides here so I can hit the button a little quicker. All right, cool deal, man. So what we're gonna do now is go ahead and play the Avalon first. You already know what the source sound like. Let's go.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits,
All right, let's go to the Mo5.
eggs
Here we
and
go.
bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs
to
and
UAD.
bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and
Mo5.
bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon.
UAD.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Mo5.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
UAD.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Back to the Mo5.
Eggs and bacon.
Engage the
Mama's
fat.
on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon.
UAD.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Mo5.
Eggs and bacon.
With the fat engaged.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Take out the fat.
Eggs and bacon.
Bypass.
Mama's on the stove
UAD.
for cooking grits.
Man.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon.
All right, cool deal. So the Avalon sounds not as full at the bottom, which makes it not fuller. It just has that top end sheen to the vocal or whatnot. Now, I'm quite sure you can make some EQ adjustments in order to get a fuller vocal on that low mid frequency area and everything like that. But Mo5 is really doing it without no additive EQ circuitry in their plug-in, which is pretty dope, man. Now, when you add the fat, of course, it's going to add that low end flavor for you. But I mean, shoot, compared to what the Avalon has to offer, yeah, it is very thin sounding, but it sounds good though for that particular genre. If you're hip hop or pop, look into the Avalon to get that top end sheen on a preamp stage. All right, cool deal, man. We're gonna move along. We got the Neve 1073 emulation from UAD. Y'all know how we're gonna roll. Let's go ahead and make sure everything is in bypass, and we're gonna go ahead and listen to source volume.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
This time we're gonna do backwards.
Eggs
We're just gonna do the
and
vocals
bacon.
isolated first.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs
Let's go to
and
1073.
bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Here it is right here.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and
Mo5.
bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon.
1073.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
All right, let's take the
Eggs
1073
and
off
bacon.
Mo5.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Let's go ahead and engage the fat.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Take the fat out.
Eggs and bacon.
Bypass.
Mama's on the stove for
1073.
cooking grits.
Let's play some music.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and
1073.
bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
All right, let's just check out the
Eggs
Mo5.
and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Engage the fat.
Eggs and bacon.
Bypass.
Mama's on the stove for cooking
1073.
grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and
Mo5.
bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
With the fat engaged.
Eggs and bacon.
Take it out.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon.
Here we go.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for
1073.
cooking grits. Eggs and bacon.
Mo5.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
See how it's open on that top end?
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Let's check out the 1073.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
So you have more openness on that top end, that high mid top end with the Mo5 versus with the 1073. It's just not as open and more of a broadband sound with the 1073 than it is with the Mo5. The Mo5 just has this broadband wide top open sound to it. And 1073, even though you can hear it just sounds a little bit more closed. Very interesting or whatnot. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and minimize the 1073, and we're gonna move on to let me make sure that was off. I'm gonna move on to our hardware. All right, so with our hardware, we're gonna go ahead and go with a triple box. All right, so right now we're gonna go ahead and get right here, and so we're gonna start out with our Mo5. And what we'll be on is the MP73 EQ V2. We're going to go ahead and pop out the EQ circuit and just have the preamp circuit going in tandem with the Mo5 plug-in, and then we'll pop in the EQ circuit just to hear the difference between the two. All right, so let's go ahead and play our source vocal. Mama's on the stove. Actually, you know what? I turned it on. My bad. All right, source vocal. Let's go ahead and play it.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
All right, let's start out with the MP73. Here we go.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
All right, let's go to the plug-in. Mo5.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon.
Hardware.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon.
Plug in.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
All right, that's the hardware.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
So I'm gonna engage the EQ circuit on the hardware.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
All right, plug in.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Wow.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
All right, let's go ahead and solo. We're gonna keep the Mo5 on.
Eggs
Here we
and
go
bacon.
again, solo.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits,
Let's go to hardware.
eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits,
That is the hardware.
eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Plug in.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs
Fat
and
engaged.
bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and
Hardware.
bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Man, this is a tough toss up.
Eggs and bacon.
Tough toss up.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and
go.
bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Plug in.
Eggs and bacon.
Hardware.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon.
Plug in.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Hardware.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
All right, we're gonna go back to the plug in.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Hardware.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Plug in.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Man, all right, cool. So the Alctron MP73 definitely sounds similar to this one, but this one still has that very wide open top end at the high mids and the highs on the vocal, right? Not man, to say this is a plug-in, it sounds really, really close to the outboard gear or whatnot. So that is pretty cool. We're gonna go ahead and bypass the Mo5, and we're gonna move on to the Warm Audio Tone Beast Black. And of course, this is an API 512 emulation or clone, and we have a discrete amplifier, capacitor selection, and also output transformer to get the right tone. Did all of that to get the right tone with the source, and we have our preamp gain to match with our source. Let's go ahead and play the WATB12 to get a feel on how it sounds.
Mama's on the stove, a cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove, a cooking grits.
Go ahead to the plug-in, Mo5.
Mama's on the stove, a cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove, a cooking grits. Eggs and
TB12.
bacon. Mama's on the stove, a cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove, a cooking grits. Eggs and bacon.
Mo5.
Mama's on the stove, a cooking grits.
Now brought down the preamp a little bit.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove, a cooking grits.
Let's go ahead and throw in the fat circuitry.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove, a cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove, a cooking grits.
All right, let's go to the TB12.
Mama's on the stove, a cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove, a cooking grits.
All right, let's go ahead and solo this track.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove,
TB12, Warm Audio Tone Beast Black playing.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon.
Plug in.
Mama's on the stove a cooking grits.
With the fat engaged.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Take the fat out.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon.
Hardware.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Plug in.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
All right, let's do a quick swap.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
All right, cool. So you can hear the warmth in the TB12 Warm Audio Tone Beast Black. That's what it's known for, to have very, very nice warmth without a tube, and also add a little bit of color for us to roll off those high ends or whatnot. But the Mo5 definitely does this thing. You can add weight to it, but it's always going to have that top end sheen to it, whatnot. Very polished though, man. If I had to pick one, it would probably be that Mo5, man. TB12, wow. I have to say, I think it's just the way it's built on the circuitry for its, you know what I'm saying, just getting, you know what I'm saying, those dirty tones without having too much high end on it or whatnot. But I'm quite sure with EQ on any of these processes definitely will do the trick. All right, we're going to keep on moving, and we're going to go to our last process, which is the A.R.T. TPS II unit right here. This is purple unit with two preamps side by side. Now they call it a tube, but it's really like a tube solid state hybrid. But this is the cheapest unit that I have so far, with the Warm Audio Tone Beast Black being the most expensive unit that I have. And sitting in the middle is the Alctron MP373. This is $389. This was I got this off of Reverb for about $4 something, but really retails at $699. And then this right here, this A.R.T. TPS II, that retails about $289 or whatnot. I'm really excited to hear what the TPS II will do, because it kind of kicked the fat plug-in in the ass. Stuff like that. It sounded really, really good. Now on the TPS II, we do have this voicing system, or voicing EQ circuitry on this rotating knob here, which they call V3 voicing. We have it on the warm vocal preset. We have our input impedance rotary knob. We have that set at 150 ohms with our preamp gain matching the source. All right, so right now we're going to hit the source volume, and then we'll start out with the A.R.T TPS II hardware preamp. Let's go.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
All right, here's the A.R.T.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits, eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
All right, we're gonna go to the Mo5. Here we go.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Whoa.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Let's go back to the A.R.T.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon.
Plug in.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon.
A.R.T.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
And let's go ahead and solo.
Eggs and bacon.
This is the A.R.T hardware.
Cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon.
All right, here's the plug-in.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Wow.
Eggs and bacon.
We're not even going to engage the fat
for cooking grits.
because
Eggs and bacon.
it's going to just add weight.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and
A.R.T.
bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon.
Mo5.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
A.R.T.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
Mo5.
Eggs and bacon.
Music.
Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
So the Mo5 is playing right now. One more time.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits.
A.R.T.
Eggs and bacon. Mama's on the stove for cooking grits. Eggs and bacon.
Wow, man. I had to say, man, the A.R.T TPS II, it held this weight up there on the top end and the high mids. However, it just didn't really have that bandwidth like the Mo5 is displaying as a plug-in or whatnot. It had the sound, like it was going tit for tat, you know what I'm saying, with Mo5. But the Mo5 just has this wide sound, this big sound. I can't explain it, but it's a fuller sound, you know what I'm saying? Not full for its frequency. It just fills out the speakers for us, your left and the right, and what you're hearing in the headphones and everything. And then the A.R.T is just basically, it kind of just gives you, I don't know, it gives you the vibe that you're looking for, but it just doesn't have that big full sound. But it does the job. And I'm quite sure with EQ, it'll do the same thing as well, man. So hey, man, that was it. Yeah, that was it for our shootout right there, man. The Mo5 plug-in with the Motown circuitry from the Metropolitan console, or should I say the Mo circuitry from their Mo5 500 processor, should I say that, man. You also have the FAT circuitry built in, and you have your preamp, man. This plugin does a damn good job in making your stuff sound good, especially on vocals or whatnot, man. So hey, of course you can get it, try it out, man. Free trial, you know what I'm saying? They ain't got nothing to hide. Try out the free trial, man. And also, if you like it, you can go ahead and spend that $199 plus tax for a plug-in. It sounds really, really good, man, but they need to come down on that price, man. That's hitting the pockets too much, but it sounds really, really good, man. I can't lie to you, man. Make sure you go ahead and check out www.tomhilbe.com, his website right there, and you can get access to these plugins, free trial and everything like that, man. So hey, this is the end of the video, you know what I'm saying? Yes sir, we're gonna go ahead and shut everything down and tell you guys, man, if you like this video, go ahead and hit a like on this video, man. Also subscribe to this channel to get ready to check out part number 3 of our Hilbe mic pre plugins showdown or whatnot, man. The one we'll be highlighting next is the one I think sounds really good, man, and that is the Mo67 right here, man. Yes, the Mo67. This particular plugin costs the same as the Mo5, but man, I don't know, it does something special, man. And this mil core circuitry is something special as well, man. So we'll go ahead and check that out and do the same test we did, but in order to get to part 3 and to really check this out, so you want to check it out and make a decision, hey man, you gotta subscribe to the channel, man. Hey, this has been your boy Super Mario, man. Appreciate you tuning in, man. Stay creative out there, checking out the Hilbe mic pre plugin showdown, man. Until next time, man, y'all stay creative, man, and be easy, man. This has been your boy Super Mario, man. Go on ahead and get your trial in, dog. Go on ahead and get your trial in, man. Yes sir.